Yesterday night, I had a lot of sleepless nights. I visited my constituency, and the most worrisome thing was the devastating effects, not only of trafficking in drug, but in consumption of this drug. Mr. President, there are so many things we should understand and put into consideration when it comes to issue of drug and narcotic. Drug issue had become a very big economy, very big one among our youthful population. Drug issue had become a very, very serious problem to the extent that I have a terrible fear for our tomorrow as a nation. Without being economical with truth, more than 70% of our youthful population are into drug consumption. And from my own little discussion in my constituency, I discovered that the issue goes beyond NDLEA. NDLEA had become so compromised, so ineffective to the extent that leaving drug enforcement or drug education to NDLEA, we will never get where we are going to.
Thank you, leader. Thank you. You made a point. Chief, you have 1 minute.
So they were trying to set up another body. You know, they have been passing bills to establish different bodies, commissions, job for the boys. So they are thinking of setting up another rehabilitation body for drug abusers in Nigeria to rehabilitate the youth that are now resorting to drug abuses. That NDLEA is just arresting people, is not rehabilitating people. But Oshiomole Adamu thinks otherwise.
Excellency, my former chairman, you have 1 minute remaining.
Yes, sir, but the nigga spoke for 5 minutes. I think you have obligation to be fair to all senators on this occasion, regardless of ranking. Abi, you can't have 5 minutes, you announce it, so at least give me 4.5 minutes. Because my own argument is to the contrary. So I understand the general trend, but I want to be on record. But I do not think at this point, in this manner, I emphasize in this manner because I believe if this need really exists, it should benefit from the intelligence information that the executive may have. On the basis of those informations, they will decide whether there is a gap that can be filled by a coastal guide. As it is today, if we are not careful, we are going to have a lot of competition instead of institutions complementing each other. That has been the problem that gave rise to, for example, sir, just 2 minutes, I will round up. This is how we created the National Road Safety Commission with a huge overhead. When I was growing up, that job was being done by the traffic division of the Nigeria police. And they were more efficient than it is today. Those of us who travel on the road, I don't know if you have found the Road Safety Commission be helpful. They were created. That is how we created the Nigerian Civil Defense to protect pipelines, government properties. And I don't know now whether the government properties are safer or not. And each time we think that if we have a problem, we have to create an institution on our own. As
Sorry,
Parliament, I think.
I'm constrained. I have to draw your attention to Order 52A. The
Yes, sir.
senator must confine his observations to the subject under discussion and may not introduce matter irrelevant. Therefore, we're talking about Coast Guard. So the issue of rail safety, the issue of this shouldn't come up. I'm constrained. I have to really have to that on that. Continue, my former chairman. I'm
All right,
sorry.
thank you. You have the sole monopoly to interpret the rules. But I will say that in making a debate of creating institutions, it is not out of the subject matter to make reference to similar institutions that have been created, which in the end added no value. That is why I laid that foundation.
Thank you.
Let me wrap up by saying that I plead with my colleague that issues like this should be referred to the National Security Advisor. It should be referred to the executive. They alone can tell us whether or not additional institution is required. For now, I believe our mandate should be to try to strengthen the Navy, get them to properly refocus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So that they can do their job more efficiently, rather than creating a coastal guide that will just be another institution leading to endless competition and all of the things that arise from duplication.
Thank you. I will use the floor to Senator Karimi, Senator Nduse, and then, of course, we'll have to listen to the chairman.
See them? Even though I think they eventually passed the first reading, I've been a second reading on whether to create what they call the Coast Guard, another job, or duplication of positions, or duplication of agencies, duplication. That will also need funding, the money that Nigeria doesn't have. That's what they are good at. Listen.
Those in favor that this bill be read the second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Well, let me thank the sponsor. Okay, well, first, sorry, the clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill found out to establish Nigerian Coast Guard with the purpose of securing the maritime zones of Nigeria, aiming to protect the maritime and other national interests within these zones, subject to the jurisdiction of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and to maintain a state of readiness to function as a specialized service in the Navy in times of war and for other related purposes. 2024, second reading.
A bill for an act to establish Nigerian Coast Guard with the purpose of securing the maritime zones of Nigeria, aiming to protect the maritime and other national interests within these zones, subject to the jurisdiction of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and to maintain a state of readiness to function as a specialized service in the Navy in times of war and for other related matters, related purposes. 2024 second reading taken. Let me commend Senator Oshilekun Sani for bringing forward this bill. Those in favor that
they've got Nigerian Navy empowered. They also have a Nigerian Coast Guard, which is part of the Navy. But now they are busy creating it as a body of its own, right? In preparation for war. War. It's funny, isn't it? Anyway, this afternoon, we saw Peter Obi and supposed disgruntled truck drivers protesting the shooting of one of them's a truck, the tires of one of the trucks, flying oh God, sorry, I'm not so good with some of the names, okay? Pardon me, by the way, okay? So it's called the Olama Boro Angono. It's Unobe, a town in Olama Boro local government area of Kogi State. Police were collecting their usual bribe, and nobody knows what went wrong. They started shooting, I think one of the trucks who probably won't give them money. And they shot the tire to the point that to keep it immobile. In protest, other truckers decided to block the road in solidarity with the main guy whose truck got shot at. Then this caused a heavy gridlock on both sides of the road. Nobody could go forward, nobody could go back, all stuck. So among the commuters on that road was Peter Obi. I showed you that this afternoon, but that's not the whole story. So Peter Obi was on his way to, Peter Obi and his own guys, they were on their way to a place called Anyigba, Anyigba in Kogi, where he was going to fulfill a promise he made to a school there. He promised to buy them a supposed student bus, and he was going there to hand over that brand new coaster bus, plus a check of 10 million naira when he got stuck in that traffic. Then this happened.
What happened here is that we're going to Anyigba where Peter is going to detonate a bus, and then they had this issue too. And he came down on the road to come and solve the issue. We heard that this trailer was this road has been blocked since until Peter Obi came here, and now he has resolved the issue, settled them, and everybody is cheering for him. Just Obi.
‘Yan sanda suka tura min ice, taya ta fashe, ana 270 ake sai da ta.
Haka.
Taya ni ma ba tawa bane.
Kai.
Ta mai mota ne. So, na zo wannan ta musu magana suka nuna su da ke ni. Allah kawo min agaji, ‘yan uwana da direbobi suka tsaya. Sai ga an musu yawa, maganar duka aka batta. Sai muka ce sai an biya taya. Ya suka ce 30,000 da su bayar. Abun naira 270 da su bayar 30. Kaga ba je ko ina ba.
Ba je ko ina ba.
Sannan sun alƙawari za su bayar 50,000, kuma 50,000 din ma mutukar yanzu kuka wuce ba za su bayar ta ba.
Gaskiya.
Ba za su bayar ta ba.
Amma wane ne ya zo ya taimake ku nan haka?
Peter Obi ne zai taimake mu. Ya dauki naira.
Na ce wai.
Peter Obi Labour Party. Ya dauki naira 50,000 ya bani. Ka ganta nan? Naira 50,000. Yace mun ga ni man jin ƙara rage.
Kuma kuna nan tuntuni ba akwai na hanya block.
Mun fi awa daya nan gun muna su.
Kai.
Mun fi awa daya muna su. Mun fi awa daya. Allah kawo mana.
So an mishi godiya ba?
Haka muna godiya Ubangiji Allah ba shi Najeriya.
Min.
Allah Ubangiji ba shi Najeriya.
Amen.
It's that is to tell you the people's choice. Yeah, it's the people's choice. He came out and people were very happy with him.
Who came out?
Mr. Peter Obi.
What did he do?
He cleared the road.
Thank you very much,
Yes,
sir.
he cleared the road.
Okay, what of you? May we hear your voice?
With anointing and grace. Can you believe that as a governor, he still plies the road? The time will tell you that when he's in power, he knows the potholes that are bad. He's a man for the people. Man
Thank
for
you.
the street.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy for him.
Who? What happened?
I'm happy for him.
Thank you. Anything about what happened?
Oh, we're happy for our president. We are traveling from Enugu to Abuja, so there's some incident between the trailer people and the police. So there's nobody to solve the problem, but our president came and solved the problem. Everyone is going now. Our future president. We're happy for him. We're happy for him.
Thank you. Come.
Yeah. And like I said, that's not the whole story. So they finally cleared the road, and then they continued their journey to Anyigba. When they got there, this is what happened.
For the opportunity of being here again today. Like my Lord said, I have recruited this school. You might not know, I have about 22 school of nursing that I must visit every year. Each of them, I must invest at least 10 million naira a year. The reason why I say at least is that it could be more, depending on what happens in my own income. The same thing goes to universities. I have about 8 universities that I must visit every year.
I know some of you have one or two things to say, but it is quite a very good gesture, at least towards something that is more reasonable, impactful. I know I can really help some of you. When you see the obedience, they are happy when they see Peter Obi stuff from Mayegun's diary political. Then the others who are like, for example, those who don't like one Nigeria stuff, right? Or the Shore supporters and all that, you always will have something to say, something negative, right? Similarly, when I put up something that has to do with Shore, those of you who are obedient, some of you always have one negative thing or the other to say, including those of you who also don't believe in Nigeria, so to say, right? Then when I put something up about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for example, or IPOB, what have you, there are those of you who are obedient or Shore this, who always have one or two things to say. It's any problem. Do you know why I share some of these things? It's very simple. In my own world, right, I believe that there is something you all have in common. And that is, you do not like this current Nigeria. And that's a plus. that if all of you can find a common ground with the number that you have, right, everybody could actually get what they want, including those of us that does not believe in this contraption and want it apart. But when you continue to strike, hold yourselves this and that, you have all the negative things to say about yourselves on here. The only people that benefit is the establishment. It's always been. So when you continue to kind of hold yourself this, especially those of you who are Showore supporters, who always, I don't really know how it feels, so to say, for Jews, right? Well, I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it like that. So the bottom line is this, okay? Except we all find a common ground, right? Those who don't want this contraption as it is, you will have no choice but to live in the contraption as it is. So those of us who don't want to be part of the contraption at all, not part of Nigeria at all anymore, if we have our way, we will have nowhere to go. Because as divided as you are, the establishment wins. So I've seen those of you that will jump here, especially some of you are IPOB or Biafran supporters, right, who have all these negative things to say about Showore, about Obi. One thing you have in common is you all have have a one mind of you are tired of this contraption. But as divided as you are, you will have nowhere to go to. No matter how much you try to make yourself feel better in a way to say, okay, your own solution is the best. My own solution is the best. Last, now inside our head, all our solutions are useful, as divided as you are. Because you see the criminals in charge of Nigeria, they will not let any of us go. And that is why it's easier for them to criminalize self-determination or any effort to start what is called either political revolution or any revolution at all. So until some of you come back to your senses to realize that you all almost have something in common, right? One enemy in common, the establishment. The establishment is united, right? While the rest of you are never really united in that sense, okay? And coming together in this sense doesn't mean you are suddenly now one Nigerianist or you are now pro break it up. What you have is that if the establishment that keeps all of us in the trenches this way continues to wield power over us, none of our dreams will come to reality. None of them. Go and think about that, if you can still think. Here is a story, a very touchy one, where children who have been victims of a failed country, so victims that, once, or maybe 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 1,000 victims do get the attention, partially of those in authority. Listen to this story of these two young children.
Action will come. I will find them tight. It is they that will run, not me, but I will not walk. Imagine a small girl like this being raped by a matured man with her younger sister, 3-year-old. Where is it done? 3-year-old, and this year 8 years plus. Being raped 3 times. I will teach this man a lesson. When I finish with him, I'll bring it out to Nigeria, bring him out to Nigerians. Nigerians will finish the remaining one. Because now Nigerians, you people are doing well. As I am now, each time I call you people, you come out. Each time something happens, you push it to me. And when I come out to fight, you join me. Even if you don't come physically, but you're using media. You're still doing me and Nigerian women and children. I thank you very well, Nigerians. Madam, this morning I'm giving you. I didn't just I don't make a law. This morning I'm giving you is I promised my daughter clothes with shoes. It's not much money. Go and do it for her. But it cannot be on that day again because we want to come. Maybe after we come and take her. can go and get her all those small things with her couple. She said she wants to couple. So that is all this money is for. Then by the time we are done with solving your problem, you know how to support your business. What business are you doing?
I have a chemist shop.
Eh?
Chemist shop.
Are you you need it, we'll give you support to make that chemist shop start working well. But you can't be leaving the children at home with that.
People can achieve that.
Take advantage.
This planet. One day people phone over, inquire na phone or sleep or block comes and after come out there so my cable. Do killing me.
And I'm sorry. President Bola mentioned this here with the leadership agenda. You can't be suffering again. Every woman now, none of you will be suffering again. Are you understanding my point? Because nobody can divert money meant for you people and you'll be going to hell.